Good afternoon. My name is Donna Marie Collins. I'm the hearing examiner that will be presiding over this case. This is a request for a conventional zoning district. The hearing examiner has final decision-making authority on conventional rezoning requests. So following this hearing, I will review the record and I will prepare a decision. Should be out within a week or two. All testimony and evidence we accept at these hearings must be taken in under oath. If you will be speaking on the record or submitting documents for my consideration, I ask that you raise your right hand at this time. Do you swear or affirm the testimony and evidence you will enter into the record will be the truth?
I do.
Okay. Do we have members of the public here?
One.
Just one? Oh, okay. Then I'm going to dispense with my normal comments regarding people speaking from members of the public, since that's unlikely. You may begin.
Good afternoon, Al Quattrone with Quattrone & Associates. I'll be the only one speaking on behalf of our team. This is a quick presentation outline of what we'll be talking about today. So the request is to rezone 5.83 acres from commercial plan development to commercial district C2 to allow a multi-use building or buildings to include medical offices, general offices, and a hotel. The subject property is located on the west side of Metro Parkway, which is a state-maintained arterial roadway, and 680 feet north of Ben C. Pratt 6 Mile Cypress, which is also a state-maintained arterial road. The parcel is a single lot. The property is in Section 30, Township 45 South, Range 25 East, and the subject property is located at 14590 Metro Parkway. Strap number 304525 00008.0030. Future land use, the property is in the intensive development future land use, and we're also in the mixed use overlay. The current zoning of the property is mentioned as CPD. To the north is also to the north, south, and east is also intensive development, and all these properties are in the mixed use overlay. The property to the west is considered public facilities and is zoned AG2. The zoning to the north is also CPD, as well as to the south and east of the property. Obviously, is a Metro Parkway. Then east of that is an MPD zoning district. To the west is the 10-mile canal, the railroad, and then west of that, that's considered AG2 zone property. To the north is Krypton Lane, and north of that are predominantly medical office buildings in that park. The property to the east is Metro Parkway, and then there's office buildings east of that, which include Raymond James, Stevens Construction, Florida Oncology and Hematology, and Radiology Regional. To the south is vacant, and to the west, as we mentioned, is 10-mile canal and the railroad. Lee Plan has designated the property as intensive development future land use category. It is also located within a mixed use overlay. The adjacent neighboring properties share this land use designation. The requested C2 zoning is appropriate within the intensive development future land use and in the mixed use overlay, which, as everyone is aware, C2 is only allowed in mixed use overlay rezonings. The request is consistent with Lee Plan and comply with the Lee County Land Development Code in the following manner. The property is located within District 15, South Fort Myers District. The district has allocated to it 2,012 acres of total commercial lands per Lee Plan 2045, the Table 1B 2045 allocation. The proposed 5.83 acre C2 rezoning is consistent with policy 1.6.5. Rezoning the subject parcel C2 will promote contiguous and compact growth in South Fort Myers planning community, gives the property's location at the corner of Metro and Krypton. Given its location at that corner, it is very suitable for commercial uses, making it consistent with Objective 2.1. Fire protection emergency responses were provided by South Trail. The project is also served by Lee County Sheriff's Department at 6 Mile Cypress. The property is within the LCU service area for water and sewer. And makes this gets cut off, but our 6 Mile Cypress is currently functioning at a level of service C. Makes the policy consistent with 2.2 and 2.21, I believe that is. Yes. The property is in South Fort Myers Planning Community and is compliant with the Lee Plan acreage allocation table by virtue of the location of these parcels along an arterial roadway in Fort Myers and the county's availability of public services. This area is well suited to accommodate the project's anticipated density and intensity, and it makes it consistent with policy 2.2.3. Subject property is mentioned in the Lee County Utilities franchise for potable water and sewer. Developer will undertake any improvements that may be required to connect to these services. The property is projects consistent with objective 4.1, standard 4.11, and standard 4.1.2. The subject property has been previously cleared and there is development in the area, making the project consistent with 4.1.4. These requests promote the development whose range is able to complement the surrounding land uses and has a potential appropriate balance and mix of residential and commercial uses. The potential of a neighborhood commercial development would provide service to the local community. The requested zoning from CPD to C2 will allow the property the ability to support and encourage a variety of uses, including multifamily residential, and provide for safe neighborhoods while allowing a variety of price and ranges in the area. C2 is consists of allowing higher densities within the intensive development. Request is consistent with Goal 5, Policy 5.1.1. So just to be clear, so we're not looking to do multifamily residential, but the mixed use does allow or accommodate that. So I just want to point that out. The project does not generate, will not generate any anticipated or unacceptable traffic volumes. All roads will continue to have adequate level of service. The proposed rezoning C2 will not be requesting any change to the already approved buffer requirements in the Land Development Code. The proposed rezoning has availability from Lee County Utilities. Proposed amendment is compatible to uses. So I call it amendment because we are changing from commercial to commercial. Rezoning will not create any negative impacts on surrounding areas. The proposed rezoning is compatible with adjacent uses. The proposed rezoning does not request any changes to environmental conditions contained within the Land Development Code. Requested rezoning is consistent with Policy 6.1.1. Requested C2 zoning is compatible with other commercially zoned properties found adjacent to properties within mixed-use overlay. See discussion of urban services policy 2.2, objective 4.1. The project is consistent with 6.1.3. Subject property is an area where capacity exists on the adjacent road network. The rezoning from CPD to C2 does not create any unanticipated traffic circulation because the underlying land use is remaining the same. Project consistent with 6.1.5. Proposed future development will provide adequate open space and buffering as required by the Land Development Code, making the project consistent with 6.1.6. Lee County Land Development Code Section 34-841 was amended to allow properties to rezone to conventional districts such as C2 zoning district if located within mixed-use overlay, as identified on Lee Plan Map 1, page 6. As shown in the map below, which was not part of this exhibit, but we are in a mixed-use overlay. The project is consistent with Policy 11.2.4 and LDC 34-841. The overlay identifies locations appropriate for mixed-use development. The subject parcel has approximately 660 feet of frontage on Metro Parkway and 386 feet frontage on Krypton Lane, which is a local county-maintained road. Rezoning of subject properties from CPD to conventional district C2 is encouraged within the mixed-use overlay to promote development. Approval of the rezoning will expand the variety of uses allowed on the site and provide consistent uses for the parcel. Policy 11.2.5. Proposed rezoning from C2 district will allow for the subject parcel to serve the neighborhood commercial center and to serve nearby residents. The applicant's analysis submits that the request is consistent with the Lee County Comprehensive Plan's goals, objectives, policies, and standards, is compatible with existing or planned uses in the surrounding area, has sufficient access to a major arterial and local roadway networks to support the commercial development, will not adversely affect environmentally critical or sensitive areas and natural resources, and is served by adequate urban services. So that's my quick spiel.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
No?
I'm ready for the staff presentation. Oh, I need a copy of what? You have a PowerPoint?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm going to need a copy of the PowerPoint.
getting it printed.
Okay. You may begin. You can begin without it.
So I'd like to submit the affidavit of publication,
Okay, thank you.
and I want to confirm there was receipt of the 48-hour letters from both staff and applicant.
Okay, thank you. PowerPoint is Staff Exhibit 3. The affidavit of publication is Staff Exhibit 2. I'll wait to mark the third exhibit when it comes in, but you can begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, my name is Khalil Muhammad. I'm a planner with the zoning section of Lee County Community Development, and I've been accepted as an expert witness in the Land Development Code as well as the Comprehensive Plan.
Please proceed.
So the case we are discussing today is REZ24-00012, Stevens Metro rezoning. As the request statement states, the applicant Quattrone and Associates are requesting to rezone approximately 5.8 acres from commercial plan development to commercial district C2. Property information is as follows: strap number, and the property is located at 14590 Metro Parkway, approximately 5.83 acres in the intensive development future land use category, and the property is also located within the mixed use overlay. A bit of history for the parcel itself. The original rezoning for this parcel was Z90077, which rezoned the subject parcel of approximately 6.45 acres from light industrial to commercial plan development. The time frame is approximated around 2008. The Florida FDOT acquired portions of the subject property via the right-of-way taking along the north and east sides of the parcel for the development of the right-of-way for Krypton Lane, as well as the widening of Metro Parkway. Future land use, as mentioned before, is intensive development, and the current zoning is CPD. Some of these surrounding properties to the north and south of the subject property are parcels within the South Metropolitan Commerce Center commercial plan development. To the east, the right-of-way along with the MPD for many different developments within that MPD. And to the west, we've got the John Yarborough Linear Park, Seminole Gulf Railway, as well as the 10-mile canal. This case was reviewed based on LDC section 34145D4A1 zoning matters, and I will go into specifics as to those review criteria. Lee Plan Policy 1.12. Lee Plan states that this category consists of land located along major arterial roads, as Metro Parkway has been identified as a major arterial road. By that virtue of the location of the parcel along that arterial road, this parcel would be suited to support higher densities as well as higher intensities. Lee Plan Standard 4.1.1 and 4.1.2 water and sewer require that any new residential development or commercial development that exceeds 300 or 30,000 square feet of gross leasable floor area must connect to public water systems. standard 4.1.2, any new commercial or industrial developments that generate more than 5,000 gallons of sewage must connect to sanitary sewer systems. Residential land uses, as the applicant mentioned, there is no intent to pursue residential land uses, but just as the mixed use overlay permits, I would like to touch on those topics. The request promotes development with range to complement the surrounding land uses and has potential to appropriately balance a mix of residential and commercial uses. Objective 5.1 states that all development approvals for residential, commercial, and industrial land uses must be consistent with the following policies held within Goal 5. Policy 5.1.1, the requested zoning from CPD to C2 will support and encourage a variety of uses, as stated by the applicant, and may include dwelling units with such types as multifamily residential buildings, townhomes, duplexes, and single-family residential, providing for the creation of safe neighborhoods. LEED Plan policies 6.1.1, 6.1.3, and 6.1.5 cover commercial uses more so suited toward the intent of the applicant. Policy 6.1.1 develops approvals for commercial land uses, and they must be consistent with policies as well as the general standards held in Goal 4. Commercial development would be approved only when compatible with adjacent existing and proposed land uses and with existing and programmed public services and facilities. 6.1.5 maintains the land development regulations that require commercial development to be designed to protect the traffic carrying capacity of roads and streets. Moving forward, LEED Plan Policy 6.1.6, all open space requirements for the subject property are found in LDC Section 10425. Once it's been determined whether the site will be considered as a small or large development. LEED Plan Policy 6.1.7, the subject property is designated in the mixed-use overlay as well as the intensive development future land use category, which supports future development such as hotels, retail, offices, as these uses are considered to yield high intensities. The mixed-use overlay, regulated more likely in Objective 11.2, states that the county will maintain an overlay in the future land use map series identifying locations appropriate for mixed use located in proximity to public transit routes, education facilities, recreation opportunities, and existing residential shopping and employment centers. The mixed use overlay as well does afford reductions in parking requirements based upon the intended use and the future land use of the category. These properties or intended use of the property. These reductions can be found in LDC Section 34-2020, Table C. Buffering and screening. The proposed buffers are to comply with LDC Section 10425F2. The north of the property abuts the right-of-way, which would require a 5-foot wide right-of-way buffer of 5 trees per every 100 linear feet. The west abuts the linear park, also zoned AG2. No buffer would be required. To the east, abutting the right-of-way would require a 5-foot wide right-of-way buffer, 5 trees per linear feet, per 100 linear feet. And to the south, buffering parcel that is still zoned CPD, no buffer would be required here. Open space and indigenous open space. Open space requires 10% for small development as defined by LDC Section 10.1 or 10.2. Open space would be required at 20% for large developments as defined by the LDC.
Okay, so I have a question about this environmental section in the staff report. It says that the entire site is wetlands, but there really was no further follow-up on that. So if the entire site is wetlands, how is this getting developed?
Do you mind if I go there?
Yeah.
Okay.
State your name for the record.
William Lang, I've been previously accepted as an expert witness in the environmental
Okay.
sciences as pertains to land development code. I participated on the site inspection with the Water Management District, and during the site inspection, Barrett, who also did did some work on that, was there as well, and I just heard her confirm that she was they were making a decision to call the whole site wet.
All right, well, where does that leave the applicant at this point?
I can elaborate too if you want.
Okay,
So the site is completely impounded by berms and roads, Metro Parkway and so on. So over the years, it's become a holding area for water that can't drain off the site. So it's very poor quality wetlands, and we're in the process of getting a South Florida permit. And I think we're beyond the request point for South Florida, and they're issuing us a permit for us to impact the entire site. The wetlands are such poor quality that.
so how does that work? You pay mitigation of some kind?
Yes. It's typically for something like this, it's on the very low end of what they call a UMAM score. So a UMAM score is where they rate the wetlands, things on a scale of 1 to 5. And then they come up with a percentage of how many mitigation credits you may need. So for something like this, it's typically in the 30–40% of what a high quality wetland would be for mitigation credits. So they just pay those fees to develop it. So there's no, because of the quality and because it's already been cleared in the past, there's no value to the wetlands or to the property out there. There's no species.
So you stroke a check and then you can fill the site and develop it?
Yes.
You take the score, which is 1 out of 10, and then you go shopping through the banking system to get credit types that match your service area. And she did say that they were low scores due to the amount of invasive vegetation that was on there, and the lack of native vegetation, and then the fact that the site had, I think, been cleared at one time in the 1950s, 60s-ish, and was being used. So the functionality, which was determined by the Universal Mitigation and Assessment Methodology method, was low, and so they can go to the bank and then multiply that function of change. It's 3 things that they look at: community type, water, environment, and community structure, hydrology, and location landscape, and then they go take that amount to do a reservation, and then they get a letter that then allows them to develop.
Okay, thank you. You can proceed.
Yes, ma'am. So as defined by LDC Section 10.1, small development means projects of less than 10 acres in land and less than 2 acres in impervious area. Large development would mean a project of 10 acres or more in land or 2 acres or more in impervious area. Our available public services, public utilities would be potable water provided by Lee County Utilities, sewer provided by Lee County Utilities. Emergency services, South Trail Fire Station is located at 5531 Halifax Avenue, and Lee County Sheriff's Office is located at 1475 6 Mile Cypress Parkway. Public transit, Lee Transit has a few bus stops in the area. Bus stops are approximately 1 mile from the subject property, northeast as well as southeast, and the stop IDs are 1991 and 3505 for the Route 80. Transportation will not.
So they're gonna have to make probably improvements to the site since the bus line goes right past there? Under the land development code?
I thought
From my knowledge, I wasn't.
Okay, proceed.
As we see it, transportation will not be impacting the surrounding roadway negatively. Staff findings, the requested rezoning from CPD to Commercial District C2 is consistent with the Lee Plan and Land Development Code. The proposed rezoning provides consistency with allowable commercial development within the intensive development future land use category and is within the mixed use overlay. Staff has concluded that the rezoning will not result in negative impacts to urban services, infrastructure, or surrounding properties. The subject property is sufficiently served by fire, police, and emergency services personnel, as well as access to public transit routes and urban services. The request will not adversely affect environmentally critical or sensitive areas and natural resources. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the applicant's request.
Thank you. Anything further?
No, ma'am.
I just checked online. Actually, our permit was just issued from South Florida just a couple of days ago.
So what kind of permit is that?
Environmental resource permit.
An ERP?
Yes.
And the determination is that you can fill the entire site and mitigate?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any members of the public here that wish to speak? No? Okay. Did you get a copy of your PowerPoint delivered? This is Staff Exhibit 3. Thank you very much for everyone's time. I will review the case and issue a decision shortly. Thank you.